Here we go again with AA. It gave me a lot of good skills. I think the fact that so many people are able to take the good from it and move on negates it from being a cult. At its most extreme, at its worst, just a religion. Okay, let's talk about that. I'm Daniella, scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership. I wrote a book about growing up in the Children of God religious Schmeck's cult and then going into the US Army cult and the parallels between. I have a master's degree from Harvard in organizational psychology, and now I'm writing a book called The Culting of America, where we are looking at AA amongst other things. So, first of all, this idea that if it gives you good skills or if it does good for the world, it can't be a cult. This is one of the things people tell themselves because nobody likes to think that they have been conned. So people tell themselves, oh no, it gave me these good skills. Great. Children of God pedophile cult gave me great skills. You know, I'm here every day making money just talking to the internet. Skill I got from growing up in a cult. Didn't make it a good group. Okay. And cults do lots of charity work. Cults are almost always involved in some sort of political work or some sort of social justice work because this gives them several important things. It lets them recruit easily, it lets them collect money, and most importantly, it becomes the transcendent mission that is step 3, if I remember to put it there, on my cult list, right? So, and the transcendent mission is what draws people to the cult. So the Children of God specifically liked to brag that they did more charity work than the Salvation Army. Didn't know the Salvation Army was also a giant cult, um, but that is the way it was. And what I say in my book is they were so busy saving the children of the world that they forgot to save the children of God. So, of course, the people at the top know that the charity work or the political maneuvering or whatever it is a con, right? But the rank and file people do not know that. The rank and file people believe that they are doing good. And this, I got another comment that was like, oh, the Catholic Church can't be a cult because it's the easiest thing to leave, to come and go. What other cult is fine with you showing up twice a year? Like every single cult has a broad base of people who have just barely tipped their toes into it. And those people will typically go to their graves saying that the cult was a good thing. The cult relies on that for the whitewashing, right? So the people out there who've had good experiences. Finally, this person is trying to make the argument, as every AA person does, that, oh, it's not, it's just the unit. It just depends what meeting you're at. Sorry, the unit, that's the parallel to the military, former Captain Mestenek of the US Army. And like, no, that's not the case. There's a reason that every cult scholar is warning about 12-step programs right now. Some are better than others. Absolutely. That's true in any large group that breaks into units. But coercive control is what AA is built on. AA, like any other cult, did not start out to get people sober. It started out so that Bill W. could build a following, die very wealthy, and lie about how he got sober. So, just like any other cult, it was a con from the beginning. It is built on coercive control and junk science. It uses the same tactics as cults to make you think you're having breakthroughs. And finally, by the way, cults are great at getting people sober. Children of God got 10,000 people sober, and then they went and built one of the world's worst schmucks cults. Scientology still does it today. It's easy to get sober if you give up absolutely everything else. The US Army does this successfully every time they deploy soldiers. And then the easiest thing to not do is not drink for a year when you're over there in a completely different environment where nobody else is drinking and everyone is devoted to the mission all the time. The problem being, you don't ever get over your addiction. You just addict yourself onto the group. 50 years later, the Children of God has mostly fallen apart, and all of those old fogies that joined the cult are back on their vices. And finally, you simply can't say that AA does a lot of good and helps a lot of people like he does in another comment because there's no data. And if we can't use anecdotes to say that it is negative and that it harms more people than it helps, you can't say that it helps more people than it harms because you don't have the data. No organization is above scrutiny. There are no sacred cows. I have about 150 other videos on AA if you're seeing this on TikTok. Feel free to check it out. Forgot I had one more thing to say about AA. The people are always like, well, it worked for me. I'm glad you got yours. Like, I never understand this response. We're talking about how it's awful, how it hurts people. People can see the responses of people who've been hurt by it. And people are like, well, work for me, work for my guy. Why do I care if it's toxic for everyone else? It's so like white feminism, white supremacy, just peak, ugh. Like,